Alright, so a blockbuster deal, a major blockbuster deal in the industry of basketball today. So let's go ahead and talk about that really quickly before we start with these NFL week number 4 picks. By the way, the MLB season is almost done, so we will talk about the playoffs coming to a video next week on the channel as well. Regardless, though, let's go ahead and talk about this trade. So, as you guys probably heard, Damian Lillard has been officially traded to the Milwaukee Bucks. He will now play alongside Giannis Antetokounmpo in a 3-team trade. Now, these 3 teams were Milwaukee, Portland, and Phoenix. Now, Portland will get Drew Holiday, DeAndre Ayton, and Kamara, I believe, Milwaukee's 2029 unprojected first-round pick, and unprojected Milwaukee swap rights in 2028 and 2030. So, basically, those 2 picks are saying, hey, if Dame does succeed, we will give you those points or those picks to go along with him. Now, the Suns, on the other hand, received Nurkic, Grayson Allen, Nazir Little, and Keon Johnson, sources told Woj. So, Suns getting 4 players, Portland getting 3 players and 3 picks. Great deal for both sides. Milwaukee obviously receiving Damian Lillard. A huge piece for Milwaukee, especially considering how they just got rid of Drew Holiday as well. But my reaction to this trade is, wow, I thought the Raptors were going to get Dame, and I know this intro is going to be a little bit longer than usual, but my reaction to them getting Dame is great for Milwaukee. They obviously have an official or someone else to perform alongside of Giannis Antetokounmpo, who can shoot the 3 ball if Giannis needs him to, kick it out, stuff like that. But basketball is a whole nother topic. Anyway, though, we're going to talk about some week number 4 predictions for the NFL. It's crazy how fast the season's already flown by. But regardless, we're going to talk about some football today, get these predictions out for you guys as well. But first, if you guys are new to the channel, obviously be sure to drop a like, subscribe, turn that bell on. We do our best to post on this channel every single day. That being said, obviously hit that sub button so we can reach our 1K subscriber goal by the end of the year. I know I haven't really talked about it in a lot of videos, but please share this video, whatever you got to do. So hit that sub button. Thank you all. Let's go ahead, though, hop into some NFL week number 4 predictions. Alright, so moving on to the first NFL game this week, and that is the Thursday night game, which is Detroit and Green Bay. This is going to be a really interesting game to watch. Now, Thursday night football primetime usually aren't that great of an interesting games. This one, on the other hand, is a very, very good game, and I would not be shocked if Green Bay pulls out the upset. That being said, though, I am taking the Detroit Lions in this one. I think Detroit obviously is too powerful of a defense, at least, for Green Bay's offense as well, especially considering how Jordan Love looked against the Saints this past weekend. He could not move the ball downfield except in that second half where they got it together. So Detroit goes on the road, beats the Green Bay Packers. We'll say 20-17. It's going to be a close game, but I expect Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions offense to be ready for a Green Bay Packers team without Aaron Rodgers going forward. All right, moving on. There is a London game this week, and I don't know why the NFL has this really quickly, but they have the Jags playing in London twice, back-to-back weeks. So they will be staying overseas for 14 days. That does something to your body as you get used to it as well, the different time zones and stuff like that. So when they come back, I don't know what to expect out of them once they come back to the United States. Now, this game, on the other hand, I don't know what to think of Jacksonville right now, especially considering how they lost again last week as well. Therefore, I am picking the stronger and more valuable opponent here in the Atlanta Falcons. I think the Falcons are going to run over the Jacksonville defense, especially with Bijan Robinson. Bijan is making a case for Rookie of the Year this year. I just think that Bijan Robinson and that Atlanta offense is going to overpower the Jacksonville defense. Now, that being said, can the Jacksonville offense answer when Atlanta scores is going to be the question, especially with Calvin Ridley and Christian Kirk as well. But right now, I have the Atlanta Falcons winning this game, especially on the road or in London, where both sides are going to take some getting used to get used to the time zones and stuff like that. But I'm taking Atlanta here, so take Atlanta. Moving on to one of the amazing games this week, and really they could have swapped it out with that primetime game this week, and we'll talk about that coming later. but it is Miami going in to Buffalo. This one is a toss-up for me. Miami has been putting up historic numbers right now, especially with Tua and Tyreek Hill. Jalen Waddle being out does not help Miami. Therefore, Buffalo also having Von Miller out for this game too. Therefore, I'm taking the more powerful offense. I am taking the Miami Dolphins as on the road against Buffalo. Do I think it will be close? Absolutely. I think it will be a 30-36 game, 40-42 game, something like that. It will be a high-scoring game, but it's going to be close. Both defensive, not really that great. The secondary for Miami has some struggles, especially with Eli Apple being on the team, always having struggles with him. Regardless, though, I'm picking Miami on the road. I just think this year is the year for Miami to take the AFC East. And so far, they're proving me right. I mean, 70 points last week was incredible, and they could have gone for the record as well. Therefore, I'm taking Miami here on the road in Buffalo. I just think their offense is too heavy for Buffalo's defense, especially without Von Miller. All right, moving on to the snooze fest game of the week, and that is Denver and Chicago. This one, I really don't know who to pick. I'm wearing my Chicago Cubs jersey right now and still don't know who to pick in this game. Now, granted, obviously, this is going to be a battle of who is the worst team in the league. I guess I'm taking Denver here. I think Denver's slightly better than Chicago right now, especially considering how bad Justin Fields has been playing with his playmakers recently. He cannot get the ball 10 to 15 yards downfield. He always checks it down or is too afraid to step out of the pocket as well. That being said, on the Denver side of things, Denver has to get it together offensively. I think Sean Payton and Russell Wilson are going to bounce back from this one. Denver gets the win on the road and proves to me that they are not the worst team in this league, especially after what happened last week. All right, moving on to the next game, and that is Baltimore at Cleveland. This one, again, another struggle this week as these games don't get any easier to predict. Now, that being said, last week my title was a boring week ahead, and obviously it was not a very boring week. We had historic performances, we had some boring games in there, we even had the Cardinals upsetting the Dallas Cowboys, which personally I am not a fan of, especially you guys know that I'm a Cowboys fan. But regardless, Baltimore at Cleveland. Cleveland's going to win this game. The only thing Cleveland is going to be missing is a running back. Now, Kareem Hunt, they just signed Kareem Hunt as well. So, therefore, I am going to be taking Cleveland. I think their run defense is really, really good. They've allowed 52 rush yards all game long, or all season long. That is their average amount of rush yards allowed against defenses. And considering how the Ravens are not healthy right now, I am going to be taking the Cleveland Browns here on the road, or at home, against a not healthy Ravens team. Moving on, you got Cincinnati and Tennessee. Yes, I know Cincinnati won. I know Joe Burrow proved a lot of people wrong this past week and proving that he deserves to be paid. Now, that being said, I'm still struggling here to pick this game. I don't really know who to pick here. Granted, Cincinnati got the win at home, but Tennessee, on the other hand, has been winning some games. They've been keeping up with these opponents, and if they can do that, then obviously Cincinnati's going to struggle, especially the way their offense looked last night. I know Jamar Chase had a great game, but Joe Burrow did not. Joe Burrow had an absolutely terrible performance-wise. Yes, he got me what I needed to win in fantasy football, but performance-wise, Joe Burrow was not that great. But I guess I'm picking the Cincinnati Bengals here. It's the Tennessee Titans. They should, and I quote, should be able to take care of business on the road in Tennessee. But regardless, who knows with the Cincinnati Bengals right now. But I am taking the Bengals on the road. Moving on, you got Los Angeles the Rams rather. Well, the Rams at the Colts. And Again, this is another toss-up to me. I think this is going to be a very, very boring game, in my opinion. I don't think this is going to be a high-scoring one as well. But I am going to take the Indianapolis Colts here on this one. I think the Colts have been hot recently. They won the past 2 games, I believe, after starting 0-1. Gardner Minshew looks great. The Rams, on their other hand, lost to the Bengals last week, and Puka Nacua and obviously Matthew Stafford struggled as well, especially against a really, really terrible Cincinnati Bengals secondary. I'm sorry about that. That's just the way it is for the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, that being said, I am taking the Indianapolis Colts here at home. I think Gardner Minshew is going to get the job done this week. I just think that's how that's going to go, and I'm going to pick him up for fantasy just in case. So, therefore, I'm going to need him to score a lot of points and expect the Indianapolis Colts to get the win at home against the Los Angeles Rams. Moving on, you got a very, very interesting NFC South game. This one is going to be a battle, and Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore, are going to be going at it the entirety of this game. That being said, this is the New Orleans Saints hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think the Saints are going to win this game. Number one, it's in the Superdome. The Saints like to win, obviously, in the Superdome. Their crowd is amazing. I've personally seen it like 6 or 7 times. That's where I go for my NFL games. But Baker Mayfield and the Bucs do look pretty good, especially against these last couple of weeks. Maybe not last week against the Philadelphia Eagles, but the past 2 weeks before that. They've looked pretty good, in my opinion. Now, therefore, I'm taking the Saints here. I think it's going to be close, but if they didn't have Dennis Allen, who is a terrible head coach, by the way, the Saints would absolutely blow the Bucs out of the water. I think the series is going to be split, and we'll talk about that whenever the next time that is that the Saints play them in Tampa. But as of now, I'm taking the New Orleans Saints to get the win at home. Now, granted, Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore are going to go at it, and expect both of them, if not one of them, to get ejected. That's just my bold projection for this week as well. Expect Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans to go at it. One of them is going to get ejected this week. Now, moving on is Washington and Philly. Now, Washington is a good team. They've impressed a lot of people these past 3 weeks, especially during the preseason as well. But they're not a complete team by any means. Now, therefore, I'm taking the Philadelphia Eagles because you know who is? The Philadelphia Eagles. They have a solid D-line. They have a solid offensive line. I, again, don't know how Jalen Carter fell all the way down to this position. Granted, I'm taking the Philadelphia Eagles at home, and that sucks for my Cowboys. But if Washington could pull off the win, then Washington is going to pull off the win. And that would be absolutely amazing for Cowboys fans, and we would get to laugh at the Eagles all day long. But I just don't see it happening. I think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to murder the absolute living crap out of the Washington Commanders. Moving on, you got a battle of 0-3 teams. Minnesota going up against Carolina. I have lost all hope for Carolina this year. I know it's only week 4. I know we can still kind of bounce back, hopefully make the wild card, but I just don't see it happening. Bryce Young should be coming back for this one. It's going to take some time for Bryce Young to get used to that NFL speed. But once he does, he's going to be really, really good regardless of his height. Now, that being said, do I expect the Carolina Panthers to win this game at home? Hell no. I'm picking the Minnesota Vikings. Kirk has been lighting defenses up this year, and especially with Carolina and how many injuries we have had the entirety of this year already, 4 weeks in. J.C. Horn going down. Xavier Woods is missing games as well. So, Bryce Young being hurt does not help him coming back as well. That being said, I'm picking the Minnesota Vikings here on the road. I just think that it's time for Kirk Cousins to get his first win as a Minnesota Viking this year. And Jake Jettos and him have both been going off. They've been having massive games. Expect the Minnesota Vikings to get the win on the road against a Carolina Panthers defenseless team. Moving on, you got the Steelers and the Texans. And based off of what C.J. Stroud did last week, expect that to happen again this week. Now, that being said, is C.J. Stroud going to win this game? Are they going to win this game? Absolutely not. But will they keep it close? Yes. It's Mike Tomlin, though. So Mike Tomlin is a very, very well coached, or he coaches teams very well. And I expect the Pittsburgh Steelers to prove us why their defense and offense are both really good and get the win on the road in Houston. Moving on, you got Las Vegas and Los Angeles Chargers. This game, again, another one I'm struggling with just because Brandon Staley. If Brandon Staley was not in Los Angeles, I would not give a heck in the world. I would be picking the Chargers right now based on how well they played. Now, that being said, how well they've played in the second half is what is getting me at this point. I'm still picking the Chargers here at home against the Las Vegas Raiders. I just don't know how Brandon Staley has a job with the way he's been performing right now, especially with the Raiders losing this past week to the Steelers, how bad Garoppolo looked as well. I'm picking the Los Angeles Chargers to get the win. I just don't know about Brandon Staley, and him being there doesn't really help, so therefore I am taking the Chargers at home. Moving on, you got Dallas hosting New England. Now, this is going to be a very tough game for our offense. Now, that being said, is Dallas going to get the win? Hell yeah, we're going to get the win. We're going to bounce back. It's going to be a tough bounce back and a very, very stressful bounce back if you're a Cowboys fan like me. But I expect Dak Prescott and the offense to go out there and show New England what's up. Now, I don't think Dak's going to have a great performance in this game. I think the New England defense is going to be good. This all depends on, for New England, how well Mac Jones plays. If Mac Jones lights it up, they may win this game as well. But I am expecting Dallas to get the bounce back win. Take Dallas here against the Patriots, especially at home. But do not ever count out Bill Belichick. Moving on, you got the Cardinals and the 49ers. And I know I already have a Kyler Murray jersey up there. But if Arizona wins this game, I will frame that jersey and put it on this wall behind me. That, you guys heard it there. I will do that and put a Kyler Murray framed, or I will do a Joshua Dobbs jersey and buy that one. Let me know in the comments which one you guys would pick. And frame it on the back of that wall, granted to Joshua Dobbs. That being said, do I think they're going to win this game? Hell no. I don't think this game, they have a chance in this game, in the world, to win this game. That being said, San Francisco does have to show up to play and be ready to play. But I think they will, and I believe they're going to get the win at home against a terrible Cardinals team who has shocked a lot of people so far. Moving on, you got the Sunday night game, and that is Kansas City going into New York. Guys, Kansas City is going to win this game 73-0. I don't think there's nothing to talk about. Granted, Aaron Rodgers is out, yes, but it's Mahomes and Kelsey. That's all you need, especially against a defenseless Zach Wilson and the New York Jets. Kansas City is going to win this game 76-3. All right, and the Monday night game of this week is Seattle going into New York. Again, I don't know what's up with New York. They're looking like they're the same. They've been the same team since before last season. They've gone back to that same team. That being said, can they step it up this week? I don't think so. I think Seattle, coming out for that performance in Carolina, is riding high right now with Geno Smith. They're riding too high to be stopped, especially by a New York Giants team who is not even winning any games, especially against the Cardinals, which I don't know how that's even possible, but I'm taking Seattle here on the road in New York. Anyway, that is going to be all for my week number 4 NFL predictions. This season's already flown by as well. We will talk about the MLB playoffs for those of you wondering, coming to the channel on Monday. That being said, though, thank you all so much for watching this video. Let me know your predictions in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, turn that bell on. We do our best to post on this channel every single day. I'm going to hop off, get this edited so you guys can watch it on time. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.